am Vinnie Tortorich, folks. Your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, guaranteed.
Awesome.
You know, Anna.
Yeah.
We like off the air. You and I were having a conversation about Lake Bell.
Yeah, we love Lake Bell. We're the Lake Bell fan club. Is there a Lake Bell fan club? Let's start one.
I'll start it. I will be the president, and you can be the treasurer. Anna, I feel the same way about David Bowie as I feel about Lake Bell. And I'm secure.
That got an eyebrow raise considering what we just said off the mic.
Yeah. And it's just something. Look, I'm very secure as who I am.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about this, but I had to go in for an MRI.
Yes, you did.
And so, you know, they had to do like the long version where they scan for like 15 minutes and then they had to do another 5 minutes with the contrast.
Yes.
And the guy says to me, he goes, we're going to put these earphones on you. And it's because this machines are loud. I guess they want to protect your ears.
Smart.
They're shooting gamma rays into your brain.
Like they have to lock themselves out of the room.
Yeah. You're in a room that's like, it's got like 3 feet of lead around the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
But hey, let's protect your ears.
Yeah. But we're worried. We're worried that the musical is 3 dBs too high.
So he says, guy says to me, he puts the earphones on. I said, boy, it'd be nice if you guys can pump music into these things. He goes, oh, I could do that. I said, really?
Why didn't they just offer that from the jump?
I don't know. Well, I guess what he did. He goes, what would you like to listen to? I said, anything? He goes, anything. I said, how about some David Bowie? And he goes, yeah, I got that. I could do that. So I go in the machine. They roll me in. And the music starts. And it's music from that era, from Starman and all that, you know, a couple of those songs. And then the third song comes on and it's from ELO. So apparently he's playing his Pandora. So his Pandora figured, oh, another British artist that's kind of like David Bowie. So it's an ELO song. But I'm digging on it because it's, you know, it's ELO. Right? He immediately catches it, turns off ELO, and goes to the next David Bowie song.
Oh, he thinks you only wanted to hear Bowie.
Here's the problem. It's Let's Dance. The worst.
And how do you?
The worst of David Bowie. Period.
It would still make me want to like not sit still in the MRI.
The only great part about Let's Dance is that the guitar riff is actually Stevie Ray Vaughan. Most people don't know that. And I'm going, so when he pulls me out of the machine to stick the die in about 15 minutes later, I said, listen, young man, I know I'm a boomer. And I know I asked for David Bowie and you stayed on the David Bowie train. But just so you'll know for the next boomer that comes in here, if anyone ever asks for David Bowie again and ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, comes on, let it roll, especially if the next song is disco era David Bowie, which is the worst era of David Bowie. Right?
Vinny?
I had a dilemma.
If this is the worst thing that happened to you in healthcare in 2025, I think you're doing pretty good.
Actually, something else bad happened in there, but I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like if you're going in for brain scans, things ain't going great.
Yeah,
exactly. You don't walk into a brain scan. You don't walk into an MRI on a winning streak. you're having a bit of a problem. At any rate,
don't say that because that's going to scare the audience. So
no,
you're
okay. Let me tell you the end result. Turns out I have no brain, so we're fine.
So my suspicions are confirmed.
Yours, my mom's, my wife. Yeah. Everybody's going, oh, now you're telling us what we know.
No, you have a brain, but it only has a music department. And then there's a fitness department. That's it. There's just 2 compartments in the brain. music
What
savant,
if I
fitness
only had a
savant.
brain in the song? If I only had a brain.
Yeah.
Was that the Straw Man or the
No, that's the Tin Man. No. Yes. Oh yeah, Straw Man. What's it called?
Scarecrow?
You
Yeah.
and I are no good if neither of us can remember nouns. We should quit this show.
Yeah. All right. So Anna, I want to talk about things that confuse people in health and fitness. Can we talk about that?
Yes. And real quick, I forgot that I promised Bob Zimmer I would ask a quick fitness question. So if we have time, Bob, we will work that in.
Okay, but before we get to Bob or
Mhm.
all the lies you're sold in health and fitness and weight loss, I can't tell you guys about any of that until I tell you that I want to eat some cheese bites. That's all I want to do is eat a cheese bite.
They better be for sale right now because they're making them.
They
I
better
think we're a
be
couple ahead right now.
when I get to the safe house I'm going to in
Mhm.
Southern California, and I do mean a safe house at this point.
It is a very safe house.
Yeah, it is. It's actually it was in the Malibu area. It could have burned.
Oh, so not that safe.
So yeah, I'm heading to LA right around the time this comes out. Anna will be sending me her cheese bites, which won't even be for sale yet. She's sending me the prototypical ones. They're prototypes.
You're going to get the first ones that they're making in the bags.
In the bags.
In the actual bags, not the
I will be
prototypes, the
taking
actual
those.
packaging.
Yeah, I will be taking them up Mount Whitney with me. I need enough for me, my buddy Dan, and one Mr.
It's the billionaire Don Connington's Friday 5 o'clock.
Don Connington loves himself some cheese bits. So we will be taking these cheese bits to the top, to the highest point in the lower 48. They will be at 14,508 feet or something like that. We will be eating them when we get there to celebrate that not only we made it up as old geezers to the top of that hill again, but because Anna has come out with a new product. If you would like to enjoy the same products that me, Dan, and Don
It's the
Connington
billionaire Don Connington's Friday.
are enjoying on the top of Mount Whitney, you could go to Eat Happy Kitchen right now.
That's right.
And get yourself some cheese bites.
And here's how we've done it. We have priced this initial run to be a deep dive because we want to move these things. We need you guys eating them, giving reviews, telling us how you like them.
So you don't have to worry about a discount.
Because we've already marked it all down. Yeah.
Folks, back in the 80s, early 80s, there was a thing that happened where you would go buy jeans and they were already faded as if you owned them for a while.
That's right.
So you can walk in, buy a brand new pair of jeans, look like you've been using them for a bit, looks like you've been working out in the yard with them, on a farm, what have you. Stonewashed.
That's right.
Anna has stonewashed the price of these cheese bits. They are broken in. Do not ask for a discount. They are discounted. Anna, if I want to buy a bag of these, how much will one bag cost?
One bag is $6.
Wow. And where do I get that bag?
Well, it's cheese
Mm-hmm.
with the spice mixes.
Okay.
So it's cheese bites. It's just cheese that they heat and then make it shelf stable with the heat.
Right.
And as it cools, they roll it in the spices.
Now,
So we have the
Okay. I have more questions.
Mhm.
This is a healthy snack. So in other words, I'm
That's
getting
right.
something crunchy.
It's low carb, as it were.
It's low carb, it's crunchy, and I can eat this all the way up the mountain, all the live long day. I can eat these cheese bites.
That's right.
And not have to worry about, oh, I'm getting sugar, this, that, the other thing. I'm getting some good protein in there.
You're getting your protein. You're going to hit your macros, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to be not carbing up. I'm going to be getting my protein. I'm going to be hitting it. So I'm not going to be losing any muscle as I'm climbing.
It's a good bolus. Did I say that?
Yeah. I'll get a bolus. Yeah. I'll get a bolus of
protein.
Protein. And the only way you could get this bolus and have good flavor.
That's right. The flavor is very important.
To go to eathappykitchen.com and get these cheese bites. Anna, tell us about the different flavors I'll be walking up the hill.
Okay. So here's the deal. I was making these at home as like little crackers. I would like take cheese. Uh-oh. I lost Vinnie for a second. Are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, you disappeared for a second, then you came back. But
I don't know what that was. But
okay. Did that happen on your end too?
It happened to my end. So you all I heard was you took a cracker.
Okay, so I was taking cheese, like slicing the cheese brick into little flat squares or rectangles, and I put them in the oven, and I'd sprinkle, the ranch dust on one, and it would taste like a Cool Ranch Dorito. I would sprinkle the barbecue dust on one; it would taste like a barbecue chip, right? I would sprinkle the salt dust, and it would taste like a sour cream and onion situation. So I started calling companies that work with cheese, and I said, can we do what I'm doing at home? Can we do this with your technology? And everybody said no, of course, because
Yeah.
they're like, who are you? Some dumb mom from California. We don't care.
That's how you know you're on to something. Whenever you hear
When everyone says no.
because then you start going, okay, all I need is that one yes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you get hungry for it. You're like, I got to do it.
Yeah.
I have this in my soul. I know this is going to be a great snack. And so I finally said, I got my yes. And so we went back and forth about how much spice goes in. We had to do a special pulverized blend of the spices. So it's not exactly what you buy. It's the same flavor, but it's not exactly what you buy because we had to do a special pulverized blend in order for it to stick to the cheese as it comes out of the thing. And what they wind up doing is they do nuggets, which I actually like better than the crackers, because you feel like you're crunching something good. Because that's one thing that we feel like we miss sometimes is the crunch. And you don't want to have too many nuts. I love the nuts, but you don't want to have too much cheese either. So hopefully this will kind of like offer a little snack for people. So the flavors are barbecue cheddar, Monterey Jack and ranch, and then white cheddar and onion, which is the salt dust white cheddar flavor that kind of tastes like a sour cream and onion, but we can't call it sour cream and onion because there's no sour cream in it.
Right.
But it tastes like that flavor profile.
But can't you call it that on the front, even though it's not in there?
No, because there's no sour cream in it. So I don't want to mislead people thinking they're eating sour cream balls. And the other thing is they look like Cheeto balls, especially the barbecue cheddar. They look like a Cheeto ball. So people were coming up at the food show and grabbing them. And then I was like, you know what you're eating is just cheese and spice. They were like, what? Because everybody was looking for high protein at the show. Because that's having its moment right now. But what was interesting is that, because of course, when you and I do a project, when we have to figure out with our companies how we're going to launch a new product line, it has to be the cleanest that's out there.
Right.
So not only do you have to get somebody to say yes, you have to get somebody who understands what the mission is and won't mess with your food and has the same high quality standards that you have. So I'm excited for these to come out, and I can't wait for you to eat them on the mountain.
Yeah, look, I know how hard it is to find the right kind of company. I'm trying to go to a co-packer with my NSNG foods. I'm trying to shut my kitchen down. My we have a professional kitchen that I own in Los Angeles. And things have just gotten just nutty enough there that, we don't even know if workers can make it to work because these kitchens are all downtown.
They're all downtown. Everything's closing down. Yeah.
And things are getting a little weird. But we've been looking at moving the kitchen to a co-packer for a while. So I know what you're going through to get.
And I know what you're going through, because when Matt went to the private label show up in the manufacturer show up in Chicago to help find some new tomatoes for us, he was looking for nut butter people for you, because I had called Chris with a couple of them, but for whatever reason they didn't work. But
it's hard to figure out, because what we do is not easy. It's an easy product, but when you scale, it's almost impossible to do. Anyway, I want to get into these things here, Anna. So
eathappykitchen.com, go get your cheese bites. Let's talk about the ways you've been lied to, because when you started listing them, I was like, oh yeah, and this and this and this. What are you talking about? Frame it in for us.
And Anna, we've talked about this before
a bajillion times, but it bears repeating.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to talk about it again. When we see on a series, and because we get new listeners all the time, brand new people come from Mike Rowe and all this kind of stuff. When you see the term, or you hear the term heart healthy grains, they must be heart healthy. By the way, they have the little heart on there that comes from the AHA, the American Heart Association. Why would they lie?
Why would they lie?
Grains, heart healthy. It says right here, you eat grains and your heart will be healthier.
Isn't that amazing?
Okay. That's a complete lie. So I'm going to go through these one by one. So why is that a lie? There's nothing that a grain does that makes your heart healthier. As a matter of fact, using science, because everyone loves to follow the science.
All the science, bro.
Grains cause inflammation, which can be tough on your heart. So in fact, the one thing that we're calling heart healthy is in fact not healthy for your heart at all. Period.
So how can grains cause inflammation?
Well,
Give the kindergarten.
yeah, I'm always having trouble explaining this. I like to do it in ways that anyone can understand it. We cannot eat a grain without it being highly processed. Okay, a cow can, because a ruminant can. A cow has 4 stomachs. They're not actual stomachs, but there are 4 compartments that act as stomachs that can break down certain things. Cows will eat something and belch it up and then it go down. It's like a washing machine in a cow's stomach, right? So you could feed grains to a cow all the live long day, and they will eventually break them down and use them within their system, right? A human can't do that.
Right.
I've often said that if you can't eat it right off the hoof, pretty much, when you got to process something down within an inch of its life, it's not healthy for you. It's going to cause your body to react to it, which causes inflammation, which gets all the cells in your body worked up. So I'm going to give one example. If you went out to a wheat field and you pulled the wheat off of the wheat vine, I guess you would call it, or the wheat, what do you call that? Stalk. Excuse me.
Yeah, the stalk, the grain, the
put that wheat in a bowl
mm-hmm.
and try to eat it. The first thing you will do is ruin your teeth. It's like trying to eat pebbles. This is not something you can crunch in your teeth.
Right.
Right. So it's not made, in the wild, back when we were apes and what have you, we could not eat wheat right off of the stalk. Our teeth couldn't handle it.
Right.
But let's say you just drink them down, right? When it hits your stomach, good luck. Because now you got those pebbles in your stomach. Your body cannot digest this. And as it works through your system, you're going to give yourself anything from, it's going to get trapped somewhere. It's going to hurt you or kill you, or even worse, stomach distress at the very least. We cannot eat grain right off of the stalk. But what can we do? Well, we can take it, and through a lot of processing, we can get the shell off the husk. We can break it down. We can powder it. We can do all kinds of stuff. We could turn it into something else. They have to do that before they ship it to you as flour,
right,
or anything else. Then from there, if you add a lot of water to it in the form of, they put grains together in the form of pasta, let's say. I'm just giving simple examples. Now you need to boil it within 1 inch of his life so that you could turn it into a squishy, pasty thing. So you can eat it, right? Now you can digest it. Your stomach can digest it. Your system is still not happy with it, but now it can be digested. And you're giving yourself a lot of carbohydrates, which causes insulin problems, which causes people to get fat, heart disease, on and on and on. But it's not something you can eat. And it causes cortisol to be released because you have a lot of inflammation. The cortisol goes in to try to tamp down the inflammation. It raises your blood sugar. Your insulin response to it. It's just horrible, right? That's what a grain does. The last thing it will do is be heart healthy. It's not healthy for you at all. It's a filler. Whether it's bread, whether it's pasta, whether you have rolled oats and you turn it into oatmeal. I don't care what you do. You turn it into a pancake, a waffle, what have you. It's the same problem, right? It causes inflammation. Nothing heart healthy about it. And on top of that, we always have to add something to it because it's so bland.
Right.
Carbohydrates do not taste good on the surface. If you turn it into pasta, you need something like Anna Vocino's pasta sauce to make it taste.
That's true. Have you gone back and tasted pasta? Like since going NSNG?
Oh, I've had pasta, sure, yeah.
Every now and then there's a situation where it's like, oh, we made you gluten-free pasta. I'm like, oh, thanks. And I have a little nibble of it. It really, I'd rather have the vegetables and the meat. Like it tastes like glue to me. And you could argue that that's the gluten-free of it all.
I've had pasta in the form of, like, my mom, if I go home and in her loving way, she'll make a lasagna.
Right.
I'm going to eat it. Right.
Of course.
It's god awful delicious.
Well, I'm sure that is delicious because you're covering it in more things. But if you're just having like plain pasta, you're like,
no, you can't.
It tastes it tastes like the box it came in. I'm sorry that you're having that kind of.
I've always said that I'm famous for the what is it, that thing you get in and fuck quinoa. I'm in the something.
Oh, the Urban Dictionary. Yeah,
I'm in the Urban Dictionary for fuck quinoa.
Well, because people say to you, well, but Vinnie, quinoa is a seed. It's not supposed to be bad. It has protein.
A lot of protein. Yeah, no. And I've always said fuck quinoa to the point where they put me in the Urban Dictionary. I have like 2 or 3 entries in there, I think.
And by the way,
go on.
The high protein thing is kind of like a side note to the heart healthy grains. The very next thing with that is it's filled with protein. It's high in protein. It's filled with plant-based proteins. And you're always like, well, I don't want it.
Plant-based proteins, you would have to eat somewhere between, depending on the type of plant-based protein, somewhere between, I don't want to exaggerate, 3 and 5 times the amount to get the same amount you would get from animal protein, because there's just not enough of all amino acids. So the heart healthy grains are anything but heart healthy.
So was that just an ad campaign to get us buying the things?
Yeah, we don't know who started it. Maybe Kellogg's or Post Cereal or one of them. But we do know that one of the companies, I want to say it was Kellogg's, which is one of the other myths. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I believe, I like when people say, Vinnie, do you believe skipping breakfast? A lot of people, mad, 1 meal a day. Some people are, I never eat before noontime. As a professional that's been working with morbid obesity now for well over 40 years, 1982 so I'm at 43 years now, right? Something like that, 42, 43 years of doing this.
Yeah.
The one thing, because when you talk to tons and tons and tons of morbidly obese people, and now I talk to more than ever because I do the phone calls. And one of the things you always hear is when you interview these people is, I never eat breakfast. It's almost a siren song of morbidly obese people. And listen, folks, if you are one of those people that eat within a window, a 6-hour window, good on you. I'm not telling you to stop. But usually when people write to me or call me or we do a consult and they'll say, I was doing NSNG to a T, I've lost 100 pounds, and now I've stopped losing weight, I'm not gaining weight. And I start interviewing them, what did you do? Well, I stopped having breakfast because I'm just not hungry in the morning anymore. I'm not hungry until noontime. I'll tell them, go back and start eating something in the morning. That's what was working before. Go back to it. What should I eat? I don't know. What were you eating before? A couple of eggs. Do that, right? I believe, kind of like my friends who like to smoke dope, wake and bake. Wake up in the morning and get the metabolism going by, not with marijuana, I'm kidding, with an egg or 2 eggs or something, right? Some people go, what if I just add fat to my coffee? Fine, do something. Don't do nothing. That's where some of the problems begin. I'm not saying that's all of the problems. Now, is breakfast the most important meal in the day? The answer to that is no. All of the meals you eat and everything you eat is important. And some of it is important in a positive way, and some of it is important in a negative way.
Mm.
If you do most of the things right in a day, you will succeed. If you do a few things wrong, you may succeed, but not as much as you would succeed if you did everything right. And if you do most things wrong in a day, you will not succeed. It's as simple as that, folks. Debbie, you could probably take that and turn that into something.
Ooh.
Bottom line is, the closer you are to perfection, the better you will do. That's without a doubt. The late, great Vince Lombardi said, no one's perfect. But if you strive for perfection, you're going to land somewhere near excellence. And I've run my life like that from day one. I strive for perfection. But as a human, there's a lot of errors. So if I go for perfection every day and stop somewhere near excellence, hell, I'm doing fine. And you should think of it the same way. If you say, I'm going to muddle through, Vinnie says, do this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, I can have a soda. Oh, it's just one donut, you know. My good friend Kim, we joke about it all the time. I feel like we're friends now, right? Kim will write to me and go, but they had the thing at work and it was Laura's birthday, or they all bring in the donuts.
Right. That would be hard. I'm glad I don't work in an office and have to deal with that.
Kim looks great now. Kim is about my age and she looks great. And the problem Kim is having now is she's lost like 100 pounds, right? And now she's going, okay, I look hot and sexy again, but I still want that donut. Well, guess what? If Kim starts going for that donut too often, guess where she's going to end up? Back on the sad train, right? I try to get Kim to go for perfection so she can stay at excellence. Right. And if I could get everyone to do that, it will only work as long as you work it. So the second lie is breakfast being the most important meal of the day. Yeah, it's important, but everything you eat in a day is important. There's no meal that's any more important than any other. I've always said this about animals. I love animals. Anna loves animals. We've had dogs, horses, what have you.
We love the babies.
And Anna, you've never owned a horse, but your daughter had, you had horses. She showed
horses. Yep. Mm-hmm.
One of the things you learn about horses, dogs, cats, they're always learning something. It's up to you to make the something positive, right? If they learn enough negative things, you'll have a dog that bites, that jumps on people, what have you.
Right.
But if most of the things you teach them are positive, then you're going to have a good family member. We're no different than animals. We're on the food chain. We just happen to be at the top because we have thumbs. That's it. We got this. That puts us at the top of the food chain, right? So the bottom line is, if you're doing something right, Now, I'm going to get to the third one right after I tell you guys about purevitaminclub.com.
Yeah.
Back, baby. We're back. I got rid of the problems. I fixed everything. We're never out of things. You buy it, it ships.
Yep.
Purevitaminclub.com. Why is it called a club? I made these vitamins for myself, folks. I made them for me. But when you make something for yourself, you got to buy a lot of it. You got to buy tens of thousands of bottles to make it worth it. So I had a lot of extra bottles and I went, what am I going to do with these? I'm going to start selling them to other people. And that started the company about 11 years ago, purevitaminclub.com. We had a little problem at the end of the pandemic. We had supply chain breaks and this and that and the whole thing. I fixed all of that. Folks, we make these things right here in the good US of A. So if you want to keep people working in the great old United States, support purevitaminclub.com. Become part of the club. Go to purevitaminclub.com right now and get the best vitamins on the planet. I don't say that because I created these. I say this because it's the truth. Okay. So we've gone through heart-healthy grains, breakfast being the most important meal of the day. Coffee will stunt your growth.
That's another lie?
Another one with that was also coffee will make you dumb and coffee will make you stupid.
I literally experienced the opposite.
Okay. Coffee is, next to water, the healthiest thing you can drink. It's
What?
around the world every day. That's right, Anna. It's enjoyed around the world every single day. So why did it get a bad rap? Well, remember our friend John Kellogg?
Yeah, the guy who was afraid of jerking off.
He wasn't afraid of it. He thought if you did that, you were going to go to hell.
That sounds like someone who's afraid of jerking off.
Oh, he was terrified. Well, John Kellogg had a friend, grew up in the same church. His name was C.W. Post. And he came up with a little company you may have heard of called Post Cereal. Right? 2 scoops of raisins. No, that was Kellogg's, because Kellogg's had, Post also had a Raisin Bran. Right?
Yes.
So Post, just like Kellogg was the guy who came up with dextrinization. You know, you see dextrose in product. The way you get to dextrose is if you burn a grain just enough, it turns it into sugar. So that's called dextrinization. C.W. Post realized that if you burn it, now you got some burnt grains. And if you grind them up
and
run water through them, it kind of tastes like coffee. So he was trying to figure out what to do with his burnt grains. So he was like, hey, we're going to tell people that Postum. I think Postum is still a thing you can buy. But when Postum first came out, way back when, I need to look up when Postum, let me look up Postum. I should,
Postum beverage, you certainly can buy it.
Postum invented.
Caffeine-free coffee.
Let's see when it was invented.
Oh, they have Vinnie, they have organic Postum at Amazon.
Oh boy.
Cool.
Okay. Postum was invented in 1895. 1895. No.
I mean, this has got to Postum, it's got to die out with the older generation, right? And by the way, I'm old, so that means that these people drinking this must be really old.
Well, let me
tell you. There's no way young people are drinking this.
Nobody's drinking Postum. No, nobody's drinking it. It's crap.
I'm looking at the reviews on Amazon because what?
Right, so, Anna, let me tell you a little story about Postum and how the world used to work. Postum came out about 100 years before the internet, really got underway, right? People really started to kind of buy personal computers and, PCs. It stands for personal computer, around 1995. Well, in 1895, 100 years earlier, you're not going to believe this, but most people did not have a computer back then.
They didn't?
Most of them didn't even have an abacus, right? They would have to do math on their fingers like this. I used to watch my grandmother in the kitchen do math on her fingers, right? My grandmother in 1970 did not have an abacus. She did not, So there was no computers in 1895 that I'm aware of, right? People had your slide rule, your abacus, these sort of things. Well, the way people like C.W. Post and Kellogg got the word out, well, they go to their friends that had newspapers and they would say, hey man, with the newspaper, Hearst, here's what we're going to do. I want you to plant a bunch of articles in your paper explaining to people that coffee, because little kids used to drink coffee. I drank coffee as a 4-year-old, right? Kids used to drink coffee when I was a kid. We want you guys to go through and explain that coffee is horrible for kids. It's going to stunt their growth, number one. But more than stunt their growth, it will make them dumb.
Right.
You can actually find these articles that were written by the big newspapers in New York and in California, where have you, Chicago. They will make you dumb. They will coffee will stunt your growth. But don't worry, we have a different type of coffee you can drink that's healthy for you, and it's called Postum.
Right.
They created a lie. That's the way we did it before you were able to create a lie. Now we just...
Well, because nobody could check up on your lies back then. You'd be like, oh, I guess it's just, my cousin's neighbor's boyfriend's mailman told me, so it must be true.
And listen, today people lie on the internet. They know they're lying. They know they can be checked, but the damage is already done.
That's true.
Right? It just happens at light speed now, but that's the way they would run campaigns. So, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Just tell that to William Randolph Hearst and he'll get it in his newspaper. And then voila.
I just want you to know that in looking at Postum, it says customers who bought this item also bought, and there's a coffee, but it says it's plant-based coffee. I was like, isn't all coffee plant-based?
Yeah. All coffee is from a plant. Now, here's the thing. When you buy Postum, you need to buy some industrial loppers so you can lop off your tongue, because you will not want to ever use your tongue again. Right? This stuff is horrible and is not good for you. So just like Heart Healthy Grains, that was a lie that was created, sold to, newspapers put it out there. Just like breakfast being the most important meal of the day. You see, all of these things were started by Kellogg's and Post. And then coffee can stunt your growth and make you dumb. But here's the one I can't figure out how it got started. And this is the one that prompted me to start looking into doing Fat a documentary. 8-ounce glasses of water per day. Because I would sit around and go, okay, they're telling us everyone needs to drink 8-ounce glasses of water per day. Is Peter Dinklage supposed to drink the same amount as Shaquille O'Neal? Is that the way that works? Or do we adjust for size? How does this work? Was my question. And who came up with 8-ounce? If someone sits around the house in air conditioning, do they need all that water? Or if you're outside sweating, do you need maybe 10 or 12 8-ounce glasses? This lie was perpetuated so much that back when Obama was in office, and I'm not making this up, Anna remembers this from the show. I'm sure Anna's going to remember this, but Michelle Obama said, I'm going to take on, we have obesity in this country. I'm going to take on obesity, and I applaud it. You go, girl. You go get them. And we saw him do a news conference where she stood up there and says, I'm going after these food companies. By the way, not unlike what RFK Jr. is doing right now. He's actually doing it. She went in front of these food companies and said, you guys have to do better. And I'm coming. I'm coming with the full weight of the government because my husband's president. I'm coming. And I said, Anna, there's no way that's going to happen. I said it on this show.
Yeah.
And about a week later, Michelle Obama did 3 things. She stopped that bullshit. She went to the Let's Move program, which is fine.
So the food companies basically shut her down behind the scenes.
They said,
they're like, ma'am,
place is.
I don't know if you've met us. We're the United States food companies, and the first lady don't scare us.
Yeah, we don't care that your husband's the most powerful man in the world.
We do not care. We are busy poisoning children. Stay out of it, ma'am.
We're bigger than your husband. Excuse me. Get out of the way. Within 1 week, they shut her down. She started Let's Move.
And she's like, well, maybe they can do jumping jacks.
She planted a garden in the back. She put a tomato bush in the White House garden.
But weren't they furious with her for putting a garden in the White House?
I can't remember. I know, but
I was like, let her plant a garden. What's wrong with a garden? And
the third thing she did was she said, if you want to lose weight, folks, you could go look this up. I'm not making this up. I'm not that good. Drink an extra 8-ounce glass of water per day to lose weight.
Oh,
there is no science to that.
That didn't age well.
I yelled about it on this podcast back in, when did they get into office? 16 or 12?
So it had to have been, it had to have been sometime between 2012 and 2016.
Yeah, it was 2012 where I said, I can't believe
was his second term though.
Like one of the most powerful voices in the world. She's got the world's biggest megaphone in front of her, and she's going, you will lose weight by drinking 1 extra glass of water per day. There is zero science, zero truth behind it. And by the way, I have nothing against Michelle Obama.
I was going to say you guys don't write us with conspiracy theories and saying the things and the people, and I don't want to hear it.
Don't even say what you want about me. I don't give a fuck at this point. The bottom line is, I don't have anything against anyone politically. I'm just saying that Michelle Obama said this. They shut her down. She came back with "let's move and drink water." That was all she had left. That's how hard these food companies shut her down. There is no science behind 8-ounce glasses of water per day. Period. So that's where I am. When you have heart healthy grains, when you have coffee will make you dumb, when you have breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and 8-ounce glasses of water a day is how you stay healthy. And then you have the first lady yelling, have an extra glass, and that's going to make you lose weight. None of this is true.
Right.
Yet it's all out there. Go buy yourself, you don't have to buy it. Go to the shelf on a grocery store and you will see cereal with the heart on it. This is a heart healthy product. And there's no truth behind that. Because who pays for the AHA, the American Heart Association? You want to know who pays for that?
Who?
The food companies. Go look at where their biggest donations come from. It comes from Unilever. It comes from Mars Company. It comes from PepsiCo. It comes from Coca-Cola. You think I'm making this up? It's all out there. These are publicly traded companies, and they have to tell you where their dollars go to, and you can go find this. I'm not making this up. And if you think it stops right there, think again. It also goes right to something called the ADA. That's the American Diabetes Association. Okay? That's where all of this money, they get money and then they start lying, because we still have dietitians out there yelling. There are two types of carbohydrates, the bad ones and the good ones. Really? Because I only know the bad ones. The complex carbs are bad and the simple carbs are bad. One will cause a spike. The other one will cause a load. They're both bad for you. Prove me wrong, ADA. And when you do prove me wrong, I'll say I surrender. I quit this podcast. I'll never speak again. But you'll never do that because I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong about this. I'm sorry I'm yelling into your ears, folks. I know you guys wear the low ear things and you listen to this. I try not to yell. But the bottom line is that you've been lied to. And as I said earlier, I don't have a horse in the race. I've never said you got to eat my vitamins to be healthy. Right? I've never said you got to drink my coffee to be healthy, or you have to use NSNG foods to be healthy. I'm grateful that you guys buy those products. By the way, if you buy Anna's cheese bites, they will make you healthier. That's different. The bottom line is, I don't have a horse in this race. I just want to tell the truth. That's why I take on very few sponsors on this podcast, because I don't want to have to sit around and lie for people. This whole thing is about, I should have been dead in 2007. Somehow I'm alive. And I said, you know what? I'm going to spend the rest of my life telling the truth to people. And that's what we do here. Anna?
I want to say,
go off on the whole thing.
No, I think it's great. And I think it's a good reminder to look for the different ways that we're being snowed, I guess, by marketing, because it's the same snake oilness and messaging hits on social media constantly. Like, we did a segment years ago where we were talking about all the fitness things and all the dietary things that came up. And I would do, is this a real thing, a real Instagram? And I would read you names of products and diets and all the, and now that there's TikTok Shop, right? So TikTok Shop competes with Amazon, and it's very effective, because what you can do is you can make a video, and you can tag a product, and you'll be like, oh, this skincare, look at how my skin looks so good, or look at what this mascara does, or look at these weights I bought, or whatever the product is. Right. You can do videos of you using it, like Home Shopping Network, and people just tap a button and can buy it instantly through the TikTok app. So it's killing it. It's doing billions of dollars in revenue.
I could go on TikTok and do my, like, I got my Captains of Crunch.
Yep. Things. Yep. And you could tag that as a product.
I could show my massive forearms. Go, I use.
That's right. Your Popeye, get those Popeye forearms squeezing. Yeah. And then somebody would tap, I want his Popeye forearms. And then they would tap the thing and they would buy it and you'd get a commission.
I do.
Yeah.
I need to go on TikTok. I got all kinds of stuff, and
I know. You need to go on TikTok Shop.
What else do I have here?
But here's how it works, Vinny. Let me tell you.
I use this twine right here on my tomato bushes. On my tomato bushes.
Great. Then all you have to do is a video of Vinny gardening and say, here's how I use this twine on my tomato bushes. And you tag that product. If that product's on TikTok Shop, you tag your video. And then if somebody's like, oh, that's great, I want to do that with
knife. It's a case knife to cut this twine on my tomato bushes.
And you tag it all in TikTok Shop and you
what
do
else
your
do I have on my desk? Hey, oh, Anna. These are my glasses I use. They're prescription.
Then if it's on TikTok Shop, you can tag it in your video.
They're made by Brico.
I will say this. You know how you have Amazon affiliate links?
Yeah.
And your Amazon store?
Mm-hmm.
TikTok Shop might be a better way to earn affiliate income because people are doing the things, but you do have to make the videos.
All right, Anna, I know how to make a video. I have this compass right here that sits on my desk. Like, I wouldn't know that north is behind me and south is that way.
That's why you need a compass.
I had this compass on my desk.
I feel like you need to save this for TikTok.
Wait, hang on. What else do I have?
And by the way, my friend runs a TikTok Shop marketing agency. He says his biggest influencer who does about $500,000 a month in sales is 53 years old. You would think it would be like a 22-year-old. Anna,
I have this Uniball pen right here.
Great. Uniball. Get on TikTok Shop.
It's kind of like Lance Armstrong is one ball.
That's right. Uniball. The Uniball pen of Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, one ball. Oh, look at this, Anna.
Are we going to go through everything on your desk?
Yes, we will. I have folks, if you want to buy.
I'm asking us not to.
I have a Mont Blanc pen here.
I don't know if Mont Blanc does TikTok Shop. They might be a little too high end.
But this is a specialty one.
So even more expensive than the usual Mont Blanc?
I have no idea, but I do know they're pricey. But folks, if you would like to buy a Mont Blanc pen, I have one right here on my desk.
You know you're not on TikTok right now.
We can put this on TikTok. Chris can break this out.
So listen to me.
Oh, hang on, Anna.
Hold, Vinny, I need you to focus for a second.
I am focused. I have a demi-tasse here. I'll put espresso in this thing.
I feel like you're just eBaying the shit off your desk right now. You're not actually understanding the concept of TikTok Shop.
Look, this one is made by Arturo Fuente. I think it's a cigar company because they have no tobacco around it. If you want yourself a tobacco espresso cup by one Arturo Fuente, I got one available on TikTok Shop right now.
No, you're not selling your stuff. Do you understand that?
No,
you're
I don't.
Not eBaying your stuff.
But Anna, I can make more money. Wait, hang on. Kurt Lapierre sent me this flying pig shirt. Right here. You see it? Can I sell that?
No.
Well, how does it work?
If you would listen to me, I'll explain it to you.
Oh, geez. Maybe I got a little ahead of myself. Okay, go on.
Yeah, I think you did. This is not eBay of Vinny's private possessions.
So the twine.
That's not how it works.
No twine. Okay.
What happens is there's a whole back end to TikTok Shop. And what they figured out is that they can get influencers. Let's say you have 3,000 followers. Let's say you have 300,000 followers. If somebody makes a video with your product in hand, other people will want to order it. Right. So then the influencer doesn't drop ship it. The influencer just does the video about the thing. See, now you're not even listening.
No, I am, but I literally wrote down TikTok Shop because I'm looking this up when the show is over with.
Well, you should be, because Pure Vitamin Club needs to be on there and you need to have other influencers doing videos about it. But the problem is I get pelted. But you remember how we just used to get emails about, hey, do my nootropic, do my product, do my fitness thing.
Right.
And it's marketing companies, PR companies that are asking you to do videos about the content, do a blog post, et cetera, et cetera. And it's called, integrations, influencer marketing, UGC, user generated content, whatever you want to call it. But what's happening within the ecosphere of TikTok Shop, I am getting requests, messages from products, hundreds of products a day asking if I will do videos for them. And they're supposed to target it. They're supposed to see your content. Like if anybody watches my content, they would see very clearly, I am low carb. I am gluten-free. I have celiac. You know what I mean? I'm very clear about what my content is. And I am always talking about no sugar and no processed foods and no grains, right? So here's where it gets confusing, because I could easily go, here's one that wrote to me today. Hair Force Factor Hair Growth Accelerator.
Ooh, wait a minute.
Huh?
I need that. I'm bald and all, you know.
Maybe you do. Maybe I should do the video on it. And by the way, the commission they pay is a 40% commission. So you can see why somebody who's like, I want to be an influencer because I just do these videos and then I can make this money and sell people snake oil.
But you don't have to sell them snake oil. Like there's a guy.
No, of course not. There's a lot. I do TikTok shop for my own products. So I had a video that went viral, got 190,000 views, and was able to sell some spices. I had to stop it because we're almost out of spices, and I can't run out of spices.
Anna, why don't you do one for me? Do one for my vitamins.
Well, you got to get your vitamins on TikTok shop.
I can
Tell
make
Chris to get on there. I would love to.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Like yesterday, I had a guy on the show. And
I love that I'm railing against shitty stuff on TikTok shop. And you're like, wait, sell my stuff.
I think people are learning. I'm learning. So a guy came on the show yesterday. His name was Mike Feldstein, right? And we were talking about cleaning air, clean air in your house and the whole thing. His company makes a thing. It's not an air purifier. It's an air scrubber, right? He's like Lonnie Beauchamp. He does remediation, fire remediation, and the whole thing. And his company, even before the podcast, I'm not doing an ad for him, although I should say the name of his company. He makes a product. His air scrubber costs like $1,100 or $1,200 for one scrubber. Right. And they sent me one. It's not here yet, but they go, hey, we're sending you one. We want you to try this thing out. Let's say I like this scrubber and I see where it's like cleaning up the air and it's really helping me. Can I turn that into a TikTok shop with this guy?
Yeah, as long as his product is on TikTok shop and you can tag his product as shoppable content. You need to sit with TikTok for a little while and just watch it a little bit and see what people are doing.
And then, Anna, I could sell your product. You could sell mine, right?
Absolutely.
Like if I go in there and I'm on the top of the hill with your chips going, hey, look at this. I made it to 14,508 feet with these chips. And these chips got me there. You can probably sell a few of them, right?
Oh, I would think so. And then you get the commission, the affiliate commission. Here's one that I would do that somebody sent me a new kind of mandolin. I was like, I'll try that out. So I had to apply to get the mandolin because I was like, that's something that I want to share cookware with people and to make lives easier. But ultimately 99.9% of the stuff on there is crap. It's crap. The supplements are crap. The food items are total trash. And even the makeup stuff, I'm obsessed with cleaning TikToks.
Right.
Where people like clean and organize. They're like, I follow this lesbian who all she does is clean out laundry machines and teach you how to do laundry. It's the most, I know that sounds crazy. It's the most fascinating TikTok account. And I'm like,
what does she clean out?
Laundry machines and appliances and things like that.
Is she in my area? Because I can probably use that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think she's Canadian.
Huh.
All the good lesbians are Canadian.
I know. I love a good Canadian lesbian.
Right?
You ever been to a Canadian strip joint? The girls are so much nicer. They are. Yeah, I went to one once when I was.
Here's a supplement. Have you heard of this one? Sometimes I wonder if they know my gender because I get a lot of stuff that looks like it's for boys, like the hair growth thing, like this thing, turkesterone.
Turkesterone? Yeah. Spell it. I'm going to look it up.
EURKESTERONE.
Turkesterone.
Is that like a fake testosterone supplement?
I don't know. Turkesterone is naturally occurring compound found in plants, particularly ajuga, turkestatine. It belongs to a group called the
Is it a phytotestosterone, like an exogenous hormone?
Which are structurally similar to insect hormones involved in molting. Let's see. Potential benefits associated with testosterone supplements include muscle growth and strength, improved athletic performance, strength, stress reduction and mood support. Other potential effects from research, it's the latest in a line of, if you take this, you're going to be superhuman. Here's the problem with all of these. And then I don't know anything about this. I
don't know either. I don't know it, but I look at it and I go, what is this?
Right, so let me tell you how most of these things work. There is no study on it yet. It's just what they think it does. Usually a lot of these type of supplements come out of China. They're pretty dirty, meaning that they could be full of all types of other things. There have been more athletes who have been banned from sports because they were taking something that they thought would help them and it had 5 other things in it that were on the banned list. I would never trust these type of supplements. Take it from a man who's in the supplement business. The reason when we cannot, and this is not an ad for my show, I'm teaching you guys something. The reason I couldn't get some of my supplements, we were running short on the magnesium and this and that, is because there are only a few trusted places where you could get the really good stuff. If this stuff is coming out of the Ukraine in the middle of a war and this and that and the whole thing, you don't know what you're getting, right? You have to wait. And that's why people say, Vin, you suck. We hate you and the whole thing. Because I wasn't willing to degrade the supplements just to hand you guys something to make a buck.
And by the way, it sucks. It sucks because if you don't have cash flow coming in, that really hurts the company and having to come back and turn around from that.
I was told by everyone I spoke to, I was talking to professionals that you need to go bankrupt and start over. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do that.
Right.
I pulled it out of a nosedive, but I did it by not buying this cheap shit. I'm telling you, you can't trust this kind of stuff.
And here's what's crazy. It says right here, 18,900 units of these have been sold on TikTok Shop since they loaded this product in. That's so much product. Wow. It's crazy. Anyway, I know we have to wrap this show up. I'm going to apologize to Bob Zimmer. And also we're going to discuss fake AI dietitians. We'll do that next time. I have that on my notes.
We're going to take a big old deep swim in Lake Zimmer. And
he's going to love it.
Yeah, because he's kind of.
It's kind of fun to bump Bob Zimmer to the next show. Not because it's Bob, but it's just fun to say, like, sorry, Bob Zimmer, we ran out of time. We'll have you on next time.
But the other cool thing is that we talked about Kurt Lapierre and this cool T-shirt he sent me, and Bob got no mention. So screw you. All right, folks, we love Bob. We do. Anna Vocino, go check out everything she's doing. By the time this show comes out, I will be eating her cheese. That sounded weird.
Villa Capelli is the best olive oil on the planet.
Yeah, it is.
I know what you got in the mail.
I got myself 2 3-liter cans. I got myself 6 liters.
Honestly, better than Christmas morning.
Anna, I lost my mind. I was like, Serena, what's in this package here? What are we doing with this package? Don't open that. Because, if you don't see the smile from Amazon, or you don't see the one from
Chewy. It could be like some weird fan sending you a bomb.
It's heavy, it's weighty.
Yeah,
What's
it's probably a bomb. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I cut it open. I was kind of standing back and I cut it open. And I opened it up. And I may or may not have got like a half chub when I saw I had 6 liters, 6 fresh liters.
And Serena texted me. She goes, "Oh no, Steven sent both of them to us."
Yeah. I said,
he was supposed to send one to me and one to you. And I was like, oh no, I'm not going to get. And then I was like, no, I gave him both addresses. I'm going to proceed in faith that mine will show up. And 3 days later, mine showed up and I got 2 as well.
Anna,
isn't that so nice?
When it showed up, I said, honey, listen, call Anna and thank her because Anna and I had an argument the other day, and I think she's trying to make good by sending me 2 3-liter tins of Villa.
I would never.
And offer to pay for this. It turns out it was a gift from Stephen Crutchfield. The guy's amazing. Folks,
an argument. If we have an argument because you screw up, do you think I'm going to give you?
Yeah, because I'm a nice guy. Oh.
man, I got some insights today into where your brain is with this TikTok shop.
Oh, by the way, TikTok shop. I'm selling this hat right here. Barely used NSNG hat.
This is VT shop. This
And
is
I'm selling-
Vinnie Tortorich shop.
I'm selling one of my 3-liter 10s of Villa Capelli. You could get yourself a 3-liter 10, save 10% by putting in promo code Vinnie, VINNIE. Promo code Vinnie, VINNIE, 10% off. If you spend $125 after the Vinnie discount, you will also get free shipping. So do that.
Yeah.
Check out everything over at eathappykitchen.com. Rate and review this podcast. Before you go to Amazon, go to VinnieTortorich.com. Click through the banner. It puts a little coal on the fire. It gets my train down the track. And I talked about a mandolin during the show. Now, this is a different type of mandolin, but
You don't attempt to play music on the mandolin that goes in your kitchen.
all right. No, don't do that, because you will not believe what will happen to your hand if you run it across a mandolin. I've tried. Okay, but this is a song by Rod Stewart. On behalf of Anna Vocino, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living and do it with Mandolin Wen.